All right, here we go. Let's do these test review for Unit 6 so we can make sure that we're ready for the test that you're going to be taking next, and then hopefully you go from there. Okay, so for problems 1 through actually 13, basically the front page, this chart would help you a lot. You need to know what is a perpendicular bisector, an angle bisector, a median, and an altitude. That's what we start off with. And then we'll worry about the circumcenter, the incenter, and the centroid. Okay, so keep in mind that on a perpendicular bisector, you notice that it is a segment that will cut a side of a triangle into two equal portions and also make a 90-degree angle. An angle bisector would cut the angles into two equal portions, and you might see it as a drawing that's right there drawn under, or the triangle that you see there. And a median just cuts them into two equal halves, and an altitude makes a 90-degree angle. Okay, so on number 1, I know that, say, TJ is a perpendicular bisector because it is cutting the side of the triangle into two equal halves and making a 90-degree angle. So you got to see both of those for it being a perpendicular bisector. So when that happens, not only are these two segments here the same, but the other two sides of the triangle here are the same. So if that side on the left is 7, TP on the right is also going to be 7. Okay, on number 2, I can tell that's an angle bisector. And again, how? By, again, seeing that there is even if they don't tell me that the two angles are equal, the two halves are equal, if you see like two 90-degree angles, and then you see like the little hash marks here and here, then you know those are going to be an angle. This right here, this line right here is an angle bisector, meaning this and this are equal. Okay, so if IJN is 38, then NJZ is 38. Now, keep in mind, I could ask for the total. So be careful there. The total, if both of them are 38, then you would find out that IJZ is 76. So make sure you know which one I'm talking about. Am I talking about just a half or the whole thing? All right. Now, on number 3 and 4 on this drawing, I would have to make sure you see the little hash marks and the little 90-degree angle. If there's the little hash marks and no 90-degree angle, that means that's a median. So those two sections are equal. So I can set those two things equal to each other. And I could say, variables to the left, numbers to the right. That whole thing again, as usual. Notice how I change the signs. And then after that, I can divide. So there is that one right there. But be careful and make sure you look at the notes or look at the directions. Are they asking for the Y or are they asking for the specific measurement? And in this one, they're asking for a measurement. So you got to put the 3 back in place of the Y and tell me JK is 7. On number 4 is an altitude. Now I'm going to mix these up, so don't presume that you're automatically going to get the same order. 3x minus 6 is equal to 90, add 6 to both sides, and then divide by 3, and I get x is equal to 32. That's all I had to do because on that one it just asked for the value of x. Okay, so there are those questions right there. Let's look at again, there's the chart. Let's look at number 5 and 6. So here they're telling me that's the circumcenter. Okay, and again, if you notice here on the circumcenter, there's a couple of things I could say. One, that each of these sides cuts the sides of a triangle, each of these segments cuts the side of a triangle into equal portions. So if BN, then NT would be equal to that. Also, to go from the center to the vertex is equal, all three. So L to B or BL, then so is LT or TL, I don't care the order, and KL or LK. That's it. These would all have to be equal. And in-center, when you see the word in-center, you know we're talking about an angle bisector. Okay, so that means then these lines here are cutting the angles into equal halves. So if this one is 32, so is this one. So YLA has to be 32. And notice how I'm making these all equal. So YLA has to be 32. Now, how can I make this question harder? Well, notice on the next one I asked for YGA, which is that one right there, which means then I know this is 32, this one's 21. If I add those up, I get 42 and 64. Add all that together and I get 106. Then subtract from 180, because all triangles add up to 180, you get 74. So this whole thing right here is 74. Okay? Or let me redraw that. Like this right here is 74. And again, if I cut that in half, because that's what a bisector does, cuts it in half, divide by 2, I would get that YGA is 37. Okay, so this one, I should have mentioned this was a centroid. I will make sure I type that into the directions for the test. But that's a centroid. So K is a centroid. So then that's where I use this whole bit about 2/3, 1/3, the vertex and stuff like that. I've kind of been explaining that. If you still have questions on that, I would find a way to ask me. But basically, look, if you go from the vertex to the vertex here to the centroid, that's the 2/3 portion. If you go from the centroid to the side, that is the 1/3 portion. And what I'm saying here is this, depending on what I give you, if I give you the 2/3 portion and you need to go find the 1/3, you can divide by 2. If I give you the 1/3 and you need to find the 2/3, you can multiply by 2. If I give you the total, all you got to do is multiply by the respective fraction to find that length. So for example, Km. Km is the 1/3 portion. It goes from the side to the centroid, or it goes to the side basically. They gave you the 4, which is the 2/3 portion. So if I divide by 2, I would get the answer for Km, which is 2. KQ is the 2/3 portion, and if you look in the directions, they tell you that NQ, the total, is 6. So to go from the total to the 2/3 portion, I multiply by 2/3, and I would get 4. Oops, there's the rest of the answers. Now notice on LR, what most of y'all did there was that you say, found this one, take this, divide by 2. That gives you that LK, which is 1.5. And then if you added the 1.5 to the 3, you would get 4.5, and there you would go. PM is 6. All you got to do is, if this is 2, and you already know that one's 4, add 4 plus 2, and you get 6. Or if you didn't, well, you can find one of the other portions and then figure it out from there. So again, all of that should hopefully be fairly easy. Okay, let's look at 14, 15, and 16. That's the ones where you just add the two smaller sides and see if they're bigger than the largest side. If they are, it's a yes. If they're not, it's a no. Plain and simple. On the range of values, all you got to do is say add or subtract. Actually, add and subtract. So you're going to add the two sides together. That's adding is here. Subtracting is here. Okay? Should all be positive answers. There should be no negative answers. Okay, on this one, I'm going to go over here real quick. Keep in mind that any external angle is going to be greater than either of the two internal angles that it is not adjacent to. Do not worry about this one right here. Do not worry about the one next to it. Only focus on the ones that are not next to it. That's the interior-exterior angle theorem. Okay, so let's come back here. So I'm not going to worry about that angle 2. I want to find measures less than 1. If you look at this triangle right here, that would be 3 and 4. Now, I mean, I'm sure there's others I could work out if I look at the whole big triangle, but that's all I'm going to worry about, okay? Less than 7. So now I'm looking at this triangle, or greater than 7. This is an internal, so I need to find an external. And yeah, you can give me 9. And yeah, you could give me 5, because 5 is external of that too. But if you gave me at least a 9, I would be happy. Let's see here. And then less than 5. Okay, so less than 5 here. 5, you notice. Okay, and notice here. Less than, external. You might want to make note of that. Greater than, that's an internal. Whoopsie, let's go back here a bit. And so you could do that. So that's an external. So that means you need to give me 2 angles inside. Remember, if you get an external, I need 2 answers for sure. If I get an internal, at least 1 answer. Okay, 7 and 8, because those are the ones that are not right next to it. Now keep in mind the external angle is always largest, so on 23 and 24 you just had to notice that 1 is going to be larger than 3 or 4, 9 is going to be larger than 6 or 7. That's it. Plain and simple, not that hard. This should be an easy test, I hope. Okay, Finally, how do I recognize angles and sides again? Look, if I put these in order based on the sides, I know it's 2, 5, and 6. Okay, well, opposite angle 2. If you draw a line from angle 2 across, or I'm sorry, side 2, the side 2, that's angle Q. Opposite of 5 would be R. Opposite of 6 would be P. Notice how that goes in order. The order of the length of the sides is the size of the angles. If you want to go based on the sides, RP, PQ, RQ. And I'm not going to worry about the order here, but there you go. Okay, before I can do number 26, I need to add those two together. 24 plus 98 would be, ooh, did I say 112? It should be 122. I am so bad. Well, it's a good thing I'm correcting myself here before I did it with y'all. Okay, so that's 122. Okay, and then I would subtract that from 180. So when I do that, I should get, say, 58, and I put there 68, but either way, that's fine. Okay, so that's 58. Okay, so there I can see from the angles that it's angle K, then angle M, and then angle L. Okay, for the sides, okay, opposite 24 is LM. Opposite the 58 is LK. Opposite the 98 is KM. And there you go. That's how you put them in order. Okay, final one. Hoi vey. Hoi, oi, 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 oi. Okay, so on this one, again, same thing. You would want to find that third side. So this should be 48. Okay, and then if you got the 48, then you would go from there. Okay, so then from there you would tell me, okay, it's angle A, then angle B, then angle C, because that's 90 degrees. And then if you do those, going opposite, side BC, side CA, and then side BA. That would be order from smallest to least. Anyways, that's it for this test. It should hopefully be an easy test. Y'all can hopefully do really well on this, and that's it for today. If you have any questions, thank you for your attention. Hopefully y'all will do well on the test. Thank you. Take care.